What is going on, guys? It is Steven, your semi-comprehensive guide here, and in today's video I'm going to be showing you how to change your display settings and how to troubleshoot some common display issues you might run into on your PlayStation 4. So if you're having issues with your colors being off, or your resolution being too low, or your screen size being too small, then this is the video for you. So let's get right into it by heading up here to our settings menu. And most of the settings that are relevant will be here in sound and screen. So if we head in here, the first option is video output settings. So if we head in there, we have all of these settings here. So these are all the automatic settings you will see if you just booted up your PS4 for the first time. So first up here with resolution, obviously if you're having an issue where your resolution is too low or it's looking too low quality on the screen you're using, you can head in here to resolution and you can change it to whatever quality your display is. Automatic usually detects the screen quality of the display and does a good job of setting it to that, but sometimes it can be funny and it won't set it automatically. So if it is not doing that, then just go up here to the highest quality and set it there. Also, if you for whatever reason want a lower quality, you can set that as well in here. So automatic is the best for me personally, but it really depends on the monitor and if your PlayStation does detect that quality. So we can back out of there. And next up here is RGB range. So once again, we have it set to automatic. That is what they recommend, but this is really up to more of your personal preference. Automatic and limited look very similar on my display, but full does make everything pop a little bit more. It makes the colors look more vibrant, in my opinion. I don't know if that's just placebo. It is very close, but on my monitor at least, it does change things up a little bit. So automatic looks just like this, and then limited looks a little bit like this. Not too much of a difference there. And then full looks more like this. So in my opinion, the darks look darker and the whites look whiter. And this may just be on my monitor. Maybe you won't even notice it on your screen. But for me, the darks look darker, the whites look whiter. For me, I enjoy this a little bit more. I'm not sure how it looks on your screen or how your personal preference is, but I kind of like full a little bit more. But for the sake of making the PlayStation 4 happy, I'm just going to set it to automatic. And once again, the screen's going to turn off and it will go back to the automatic settings. So RGB range depends a lot on your personal preference and on what settings you have on your TV or monitor. So if you have the ability to change your RGB range on your TV or monitor, then you should match that with the setting in here. So if you have the ability to limit your RGB range, then you should set the RGB range on your PS4 to limited, and if you can increase your RGB range on your TV or monitor, you should also match that here with the full setting. So I do not have that ability on my monitor, so I just leave it as automatic for most of the time, just so it will match the settings on the monitor. But if you do have that ability on your TV or on your monitor, be sure to go into those settings and change those. Obviously, I cannot show you that because all monitors and all TVs are different, so you will have to do some searching through your settings. You may not even have that ability, but try to match those settings as closely as possible. And if you're lazy like I am, just leave it as is, as automatic, and you should be just fine. So moving on, now we have the HDR settings. So we can enable HDR, we can adjust HDR, and we can change the color output for HDR. I can't really go in depth onto any of these settings because I do not own an HDR TV or monitor. So if you do have an HDR TV, just be sure to enable this when you set up your PS4. You can adjust the settings and you can change the deep color output. But for me, if I try to enable it, it just lets me know that my TV or monitor does not support HDR. So that's all I can do here. Setting HDR as automatic though, the PlayStation 4 does a really good job of recognizing settings and adjusting everything to the optimal experience for the user. So if I were you, I'd just leave that as automatic. The last thing we can see here at the bottom is the video output information, and this just gives us information about our monitor, so we can see the resolution, the color format, and if it has HDR or not. That about does it for all of the video output settings. So if you're having issues with resolution, RGB, or your HDR display, this is the best place to change all of these settings. The last few settings we can change are back out of here. Here we can change the screensaver. So if we want a screensaver on our display, we can set that to any of these time periods, or we can just disable that. And this is an important one right here, display area settings. This changes the area of our screen. So if we have a smaller monitor and for whatever reason the PS4 is not recognizing that, we can make it smaller, or if it's bigger, we can increase the size But as you can see here, the PlayStation recognizes when this has reached the edge, so I can't make it any bigger. If I wanted it to look zoomed in, I can't do that. And there's a certain point when it stops shrinking right about here. So if I want my display to look smaller in the middle for whatever reason, we have that ability right here. And then if we want it the whole screen, then we just stretch it all the way out. So that does it for the area. That also does it for the sound and screen settings. The last few settings we can change are up here in accessibility. So in here we have a bunch of different settings that aren't really too relevant to the actual display of our console. We can change the colors, we can create a zoom in shortcut, we can change the text size, but the most relevant setting is the high contrast. So if we set that, it will make the background look more faded, as you can see, and it will also make the foreground and the whites look more bright. So if we head back to the home screen, you'll see that all of these colors, the blues and the blacks and all the whites in the front here, look more bright and they pop out a little bit more, and then everything in the background sort of fades away. So if you're having trouble in a game seeing enemies or noticing stuff on your screen, then this is a good setting to change for you. So that about does it for all of the display settings. I'm going to turn high contrast off because I have no issue with any of that, and to me it looks fine without that. So I'm going to turn high contrast off because I personally like it the way it is with all the natural colors. So once again, all of these are mainly personal preference. So if you want larger text, if you want to invert the colors, you have all of these options here, as well as the color range and the resolution. So hopefully this video helped you out if you were having issues with your display, with the colors, with the size, the resolution, or if you just wanted to change some things up on your monitor. If it helped you, leave a like down below. If you have any questions or I did not solve your issue in today's video, let me know in a comment down below and I'll try to help you out in a video or another comment as quickly as possible. Other than that, I've been Steven, your semi-comprehensive guide, and be sure to have a wonderful rest of your day.